March, and Texas basketball is fighting to keep themselves in the madness. We're talking all this and much more coming up on College Crossfire.
Where the hell's the rest of it?
Where's the rest of it?
Taylor's not even here to defend himself.
I'm so excited.
Wednesday night, 9 p.m. here in Austin, Texas. Thanks for tuning into College Crossfire. The city hasn't quite frozen over yet, so we're here for another episode. Let's begin by meeting tonight's panel. To my immediate right, we have Jonny Cramer, last week's champion, and he's actually going to start out with -1 point because he was a little bit rude to me last week on the show, so that he forgot my name. But Jonathan, welcome back.
Oh, Jeffrey, I really apologize. That was really insensitive of me. I'm sorry.
Hey, apology accepted, but as you can see on the scoreboard right there, you're still starting out with -1. And in the middle, we have Zach Head. Zach, how's it going?
Doing well.
Alrighty, and last but not least, Karthik Raja. Karthik, what up?
I'm doing good, doing good. Good to be back.
Alrighty, fellas, let's get right into it. Just when we thought UT basketball was completely down and out, they get a big victory over number 14 ranked Baylor. And as Rick Barnes said Monday night, this win gives the team another breath. And also, as DeMarcus Holland said, they have to win, and well, keep winning. So, guys, it's still a long shot for the Horns, but where do their tournament chances stand right now? Johnny?
Well, and honestly, it all comes down to the Big 12 tournament. How far can they go? They have to win at least one game, maybe even two, because if you look at it, when the selection committee looks at this team, it's about quality wins and quality road wins. They have 2 quality wins the entire schedule, West Virginia and Baylor, both at home, 0 quality road or neutral site wins. So you have to get at least 1 or 2 to be considered, and then you can sneak in as maybe an 11-12 seed.
I think you definitely got to win 2 games. I mean, because the first game you're going to be playing against probably if they go in as the 8 seed, they'll be playing against
TCU.
TCU. We'll lead right into Zach's answer. I took the words out of my mouth.
That was actually going to be my point. UT really needs to go far in this tournament if they're trying to win. They're not going to go far. If they beat TCU, the team they're set to play is Kansas in the second round. There's no chance UT beats Kansas. The only way that UT is going to get into the tournament is business, right? You look at Lenardi's first 4 in, first 4 out. UT is the biggest school of that group. If it comes down to making money, that's the only way UT is getting in based on schedule. The only thing they have going for them is they've played the 8th most difficult schedule, but that doesn't really count for much if you lose all the games. And they've only beaten Baylor and West Virginia. I don't see UT getting in.
Alrighty, Karthik.
I've given this a lot of thought. I hit the lab, calculated percentages, and the math shows 35%. Because it will literally take Kevin Durant putting on 35 again, coming down, beating Kansas, and that's the only way we're getting back in the tourney. So, I made my stance on Rick Barnes pretty clear, I think, early last year. I just don't think it's happening.
Alrighty. I think I'm going to give Zach the point on this one. He came with the business side of that. Texas, going to be one of the bigger schools over some of the other next four out teams that the selection committee might be putting in. So Zach's going to get the point to start us off. And staying in college basketball now, but moving on to a team we know will be in the tournament. The Kentucky Wildcats reached 30-0 last night with a win over Georgia, and they're now 1 win away from an undefeated regular season. Guys, is Kentucky going unbeaten and win it at all this season?
No, they're not going undefeated. No way. The team has not gone undefeated since 1976, and that was an Indiana Hoosiers team. This is the 3rd best Kentucky team of the last 10 years. This isn't even the best Kentucky team. I don't see it happening. They still have to go through the SEC tournament. I think they'll ultimately drop a game there and very well might win the championship, but the odds are really against them going undefeated and winning a championship as well.
Karthik?
I think they'll go undefeated for the regular season, which is really impressive in college basketball today.
And the SEC tournament?
No, I don't think so. It's just fluky stuff happens in tournaments, especially March Madness. And, for the talent thing, I don't think it's a question of talent anymore with college basketball teams. There's going to be more talented teams. It's definitely, coaching helps. Calipari's great and all, but there's such a weird, fluky element, and teams are just so much better now than they were before with the 3-ball. It changes everything.
Yeah, well, obviously, guys, you can lose, and as you say, fluky things do happen in tournaments, but completely disagree with you, Jack. How is this the 3rd best Kentucky team? Ooh. When this team takes the court every single game, at worst, They have 4 of the best 5 players on the court, and that's only if they play Duke and Okafor's on the other side. Other than that, they have the best 5 players on the court in every game they play. This team is absolutely loaded, and it's not a normal Coach Cal team. It's not all freshmen. This is a team that has experience, they have depth, and guess what? They have big-time playmakers across the board. Harrison twins, they're clutch.
Oh,
They
Harrison
have a great
twins.
shot to go undefeated.
Yo, fire it up, bro.
Harrison
Absolutely.
twins.
Zach, what do you got?
Give me
Johnny,
2
Johnny,
winning
let
threes.
Oh, that was fluky.
Zach
Harrison
needs
twins.
a rebuttal here.
Harrison twins are second-round picks max. This team is Karl Towns,
Dang.
Willie Cauley-Stein, and a bunch of borderline NBA players. This team has no chance against the Anthony Davis-led Kentucky team. And Boogie Cousins, John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, they aren't taking up. All 3 of those guys are
that's a
borderline
more
all-stars
stacked
to
team.
like legit all-stars. This is the 3rd best Kentucky team. Duke's first 5 is better than Kentucky's first 5. Kentucky has them on depth. Kentucky has played the 30th best schedule this season. Their only wins, quality wins, are against UNC, Louisville, and Kansas. And the UNC-Kansas wins were when Kansas and UNC weren't what they are today. And Louisville has a historically bad offense.
Yeah, but
this Kentucky team
that's
is
the best
severely
part
overrated.
of this Kentucky team is they win even when they don't play their best, and they always did.
they're playing nobody.
Last night against Georgia, you're on the road. It's
Georgia.
an SEC game.
It's
Who cares?
Georgia.
There's
Like
no
you
good
said,
teams in the
talent's
SEC.
not the
Karthik,
question.
jump in there.
It's like I don't think talent's going to be the swing factors. Like we saw Anthony Davis, we saw Kevin Durant. Like we're talking about like possible top 10 players of all time. Yeah, it's a more stacked overall team, but the Wall team had like 6 first-round picks. They drafted a guy off the bench. Off the bench.
No, exactly. But that's what I'm saying separates this team. It's not all one and dones. It's not all freshmen. This is a team of guys that stuck around.
I think the Harrison twins are going to be big in the league because Kevin Durant once told me in a dream to believe in them. All right, let's move on.
All right, I'm gonna wrap you fellas up there.
He's going dream team.
Yeah, really like the debate discussion we had going on there, Zach. I think Kentucky's a little bit better than you're giving them credit for. I'm gonna give Johnny the point on this one. That's gonna bring him back up to 0. So Zach, the only one in positive figures right now. And guys, it's been a long time coming, but the Houston Texans and star wide receiver Andre Johnson are finally set to part ways for good. Johnson and his agent have demanded that he be released from the Texans. So this leads us to the question: what is Johnson's value as an NFL receiver right now, Karthik?
First of all, free at last. Thank God Almighty. Andre Johnson is free at last. I mean, I'm sure that's what he's thinking. And I think I want him. If I'm any time of team out there and I got the money for him, I'm throwing money at Andre Johnson. Yeah, he's older, but down in the red zone, I'd throw it up to him.
Oh, boo.
No, yeah, you know what? You're just a Cowboys fan. You're a salty Cowboys fan.
Oh, man. He was calling out Reese from over there behind our middle camera. We're going to have to get Reese in here in a minute. But Johnny, what do you got?
No, I completely agree, and this is going to be scary to the rest of the league because Andre Johnson, circa 2015, is Randy Moss, circa 2007. Andre Johnson's going to get released. The Patriots are going to sign him, and Tom Brady is going to show everyone. Guess what? Andre Johnson is still freaking amazing. Watch him catch 16 touchdowns next year, and you're just like, man, that's a player.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man, that guy's really good, man.
That was a really bad John Gruden impression, but I tried.
I'm a little less optimistic about Andre Johnson's future.
He said Randy Moss.
He's good. Yeah.
He said Randy Moss.
That was a pretty great year by Randy Moss. I don't think Andre Johnson has that in him. He's been injury riddled for the last couple years. He's entering his age 34 season, and historically, receivers fall off a cliff in age 35 season and start really declining in age 34. I think he can help a contender. I think it's sad that he has to leave Houston in order to do that. He's arguably the greatest Texan of all time. But yeah, I don't see a Randy Moss season from Andre Johnson this year.
So you're saying Andre Johnson's going to be a Patriot then?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's going to the Patriots. I don't think he's going to catch 24 touchdown passes, but maybe 15. I wouldn't be shocked.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this one up. Karthik's going to grab the point. That's going to take us to our first break of the night. Coming up next, our panelists will give their picks for this season's NBA MVP, and we'll play a little pretender or contender with some of the league's best teams. Stay tuned. Back here on College Crossfire, here's how the scores look after round 1. It's Johnny, last week's defending champ, with the big goose egg on the board. He did get 1 point in round 1, but for his insensitive comments on last week's show, he was penalized to start out. So he's got the goose egg, and then Zach and Karthik at the end. Karthik, excuse me, both with 1. And I know we've got two big-time NBA fans on the panel tonight with Karthik and Zach on the show. So as promised, we're going to talk about some of the MVP candidates in the NBA. Now, guys, nothing else we really need to say here. Go for it. Who are your MVP candidates? I guess, Karthik, we'll start down on the end with you.
I think this year the theme's going to be the king stay the king. You know, I think it's going to be LeBron James, with the caveat. So the Houston Rockets in the month of April have to play the Mavs, OKC, Spurs on a back-to-back, and the Pelicans. If they maintain the 5 seed in the West, I'd be totally okay with Harden getting it. But to me, most valuable player is LeBron James having one of the best seasons in the league, as well as we already know that the Cavs are not contenders without him. They might not even be in the playoffs without him.
Alrighty, Johnny?
I think it's easy. I think it's Russell Westbrook. This guy has single-handedly kept the Thunder in the playoff race, averaged 30 and 10 for an entire month. This guy's an absolute boss without Kevin Durant, even around for basically the entire season. And as Jalen Rose said on NBA Countdown today, the Thunder are his favorite to win the NBA title. Who is that because of? One guy, Russell Westbrook.
Zach?
You know, I think both those guys have the most momentum right now. But you look at it, Russell Westbrook is even if he's missed 12 games, even if he'd played all 12 games and they won every one of those games, they're still behind the Warriors. So honestly, I think there's I'd honestly give it a push. I think Westbrook, Curry, LeBron, Harden, and there's one other guy who's I'm going to make a case for.
All right.
Are all solid picks. I'd probably give it to LeBron at this point. But I say Chris Paul is my dark horse MVP candidate. He's getting zero love. He has the 60th greatest usage percentage in the NBA, and with that he's putting up 20 and 10 every game, highest assist to turnover ratio. He's just percentage points away from a 50-40-90 season. He's the sole focal point of a team that's been missing Blake Griffin, and he is a team that's in contention in a historically difficult Western Conference. I would just like to see Chris Paul get a little bit of love.
All right. I wouldn't mind seeing Chris Paul get a little bit of love, too.
But
But
like Chris Paul, everybody likes.
And I know Johnny and I rarely ever agree. We rarely see eye to eye on much of anything. I do think Russell Westbrook is my MVP at this point right now, too. I think if you take the award literally what it means, most valuable player, I think you take Westbrook off that team, and then obviously Durant, he's been injured a little bit more than Westbrook's been injured this year. I think there's no way the Thunder are even close to the spot they're in now. But you can make the same case for LeBron, same case
Harden
for
especially.
CP3, and any player for that matter. But I think I'm going to give Johnny the point for Russell Westbrook on this one. Now we're going to stay in the NBA. It's time for my personal favorite Crossfire game that we play occasionally. It's a little pretender or contender game. I name a team. The panelists tell me why they think each team is either a contender or a pretender for an NBA championship. We're going to start now with the number 1 seed in the East. That's the Atlanta Hawks. Johnny, we'll start with you.
They're a contender. The East is terrible. They have good depth. Kyle Korver's my man.
Okay.
They're a contender for sure. There's only 2 teams that can come out of the East after Derrick Rose's injury, RIP.
But once they get there, we know how good the West is. Once they get there, are they still a contender for the title?
Yeah, they have a. I couldn't tell you what the record is, but they have a winning record against the West, which is not something most teams can say.
Karthik?
If we're going off do I think they have a solid shot to win the NBA title? Then I'd have to say pretender, which sucks because I love the Hawks. They're really fun to watch, but playoffs are different. Once you get into a 7-game series, systems start breaking down. You need a go-to scorer in the ISO late. Korver's great, but I just think you can shut him down a lot easier than you can LeBron or anybody in the West.
All right, so we got 2 contenders, 1 pretender. Zach, we'll start with you on this one. Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, Cleveland Cavaliers are a contender. They are the championship pick. I would put money on Cleveland Cavaliers today.
Over any team in the West.
Yes. LeBron James, if you give me the field, I'd take the field. But you give me any team, I'm taking the Cavs over that specific team. LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. He's been the best player in the NBA. He will be the best player in the NBA. Ever since they made the trade for
Wait, are you saying
Mozgov.
he would be the MVP, perhaps?
No, best player in MVP.
Yeah.
He was the best player
Trying to get me to go back on
He was the best player
on
last
points
year.
there.
Durant was the MVP. No, but ever since the trade for Mozgov, J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert, that team has just taken off. They have room for improvement still. Kevin Love can still get better. Kyrie Irving is finding his groove. This team is a team to be reckoned with.
All right, Karthik, MVP.
They're definitely a contender. It's LeBron James. He's like a walking dynasty. Wherever you take him, he's going to make you a contender instantly. And the real question is going to be what happens with Kyrie and Kevin because they haven't played playoff games. I remember the first game at Chicago, Kyrie Irving got caught on the mic saying is this what a playoff game feels like? It was the second game of the regular season.
J.R. Smith has playoff experience. That's okay.
J.R. Smith has been incredible. That's the LeBron effect right there. He's hustling.
Alrighty, Johnny,
Oh,
real
I mean,
quick.
the Cavs are obviously contenders, and it's even more simple than what you guys are saying. It's because the NBA is a game of stars. The last 20 years in the NBA, last 23 years since the first Bulls championship, the best player in the NBA has won the NBA championship, save a handful of times. The Spurs titles when Duncan was probably the third best player in the league, and then the Mavs title and the 2 Rockets titles.
Pistons.
And Olajuwon was probably the
Pistons.
5th.
Pistons.
All right, we'll go Pistons.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
still
you're right.
they still
You're
had
right.
Rasheed and they Chauncey Billups. But so the best player in the league with all the Jordan titles, all the Lakers titles when they had Shaq and Kobe, and then just Kobe, the best, and obviously the Heat.
Then how
titles.
can you say the
best
Hawks are a
player-
contender? Like, by that argument, you can't say the Hawks are a contender, right?
Why? Because they're a contender to be in it to
No,
win
he
it.
was saying win it, though. Like,
Oh, they can absolutely win it, but I'm saying
Okay.
that doesn't make them the favorite over a team that has the best player on the planet.
okay.
All right, last one real quick here, so we can get to football. We have to talk that Eagles trade, fellas. So, Zach, or no, Johnny, we're going to start with you on this one. Houston Rockets.
Pretender. The West is too tough.
Pretender, they're just bad.
Hey, I'm Three's company, I guess. Pretender. They're my pick to get knocked out in the first round. Like, if I was putting money on a team in the West, I think it's them.
All right, so sweep across the board. Pretender for the Rockets, contender for the Cavs, and then contender, except for I think Karthik said the Hawks were a pretender.
On the
Alrighty.
basis of winning it all.
I think they're a contender just for the fact that they went back to their old school logos, which are pretty sick.
Yo, Pac-Man logos are dope.
Just for swag there, contender.
Yeah, those are awesome.
All right, well, I'm going to give everyone a point on this one. We're all tied up at 2 now. And in a constant attempt, guys, to incorporate football in the show during the spring semester, we look back to the NFL big trade. News shook up the league yesterday when it was announced that the Eagles agreed to send running back LaShawn McCoy to the Bills for linebacker Kiko Alonso. Simple player-for-player trade here. Fellas, what are your reactions to this? Johnny, I don't think we've started with you.
Are we starting?
Yeah, we're starting with you.
Okay. I love this trade. As a self-described huge Eagles fan, watched every Eagles game the past however many years. I don't want to tell you how old I am. But I love this trade. Running backs have become devalued. Love Shady, everything he did. Eagles' leading rusher in franchise history. $10.5 million, way too expensive to have on the books for running back that has declined, and you can see it in his game slowly. He's not as explosive as he was, and I think Alonso is going to be one of the top 3 inside linebackers 3 years down the line. He comes cheap. I love the trade.
Zach?
I mean, he said pretty much all the main points. They're saving $10 million. Eagles are saving $10 million by making this trade. There's a lot to be said for that. They're getting back a great linebacker to help their defense out, and they could easily get a running back that could at least produce 80-90% of LaShawn McCoy's production in the late first round if they want to go with Gordon or Gurley, or even go second, third round, pick a different running back. Running backs are so replaceable at this point in time that anytime you can get the value of Kiki Alonso, you just got to go for it.
All right.
I mean, for the most part, I can understand those arguments, but you're talking about a guy who's led the league in rushing over the last 5 years, like total yards. And so it's like, I find it really hard to argue. It's like you can replace him with a guy off the draft, like 80 to 90% of that. But I can understand, like, like the defense is something they need to work on and everything. So it's a fine trade. And being a Giants fan, I'm glad I don't have to see, like, LaShawn McCoy break off a big one on us every week.
And I actually like this trade from both sides, honestly. I like what Rex did with the Bills. He's a ground and pound type guy. He's going to want to win with running the ball and his defense. Their quarterback's going to be Matt Castle now. So obviously they're going to need a great running back for the next 2-3 years, which Shady can give them. So I like it from both sides.
It's a fair trade. I mean, like, Alonso wanted to get out of Buffalo. Rex needed a running back.
Who doesn't want to get out of Buffalo?
I feel bad for McCoy, though. McCoy's lived in Pennsylvania
Now he
his
has to go
entire
to
life.
Philadelphia. Like, it's not that fun. Like, you're going from Buffalo to Philadelphia. It's a lose-lose for both teams.
The Philly natives got something to say about that.
Dude, I've seen Always Sunny
I'm
in
not even
Philadelphia.
gonna-
I know what your city's like.
I'm not even going to dignify that with a response.
Well, fella, it seems like we all agree win on both sides for both teams, and the running back position has been marginalized a little bit in the past couple of years. Hate to do this again, but I'm going to give everyone a point. We're
Thanks.
going to go all tied up 3-3. Just trying to show everyone the love before I put the hammer down in rapid fire. And that's going to take us to our final break of the night, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes with our rapid fire round. Thanks for sticking with us tonight on College Crossfire. Here's how the scores look before we go into our rapid fire round. Everyone's all tied up at 3. Now, guys, time to get your creative caps on. It's time for rapid fire. With tonight being our first show of the month of March, as we said at the beginning, and the NCAA tournament right around the corner, we had to throw in a little March Madness rapid fire question. For this one, we want the best crazy but still possible bold prediction and extra points if you give it to me in a mock headline. So 2 points for that.
Barn burner in Austin. And barn burner in the Big 12. There we go. And Texas takes a rip through the Big 12 tournament, and we finally have the Cinderella story that we've always wanted. So it's like we always crash.
Well, this is like a mock lead right now, but
Oh yeah.
you started with the
Mock paragraph.
Big 12. Barn burner in the Big 12.
I like
There we
that.
go.
Nice alliteration there.
Kentucky.
Oh.
Kentucky's going to lose by the Elite Eight. They were not making the Final Four.
Okay.
I like that one.
And my bold prediction, guys, is that during the tournament, Charles Barkley will gain 10 pounds, but Kenny the Jet won't make fun of him. He'll be sensitive about it.
Okay.
Understand?
I like that. Wasn't really a mock headline. I think all funny that I think we have to go with Kentucky on this one.
Yeah, that was
I don't
solid.
necessarily agree with it, but we're going for creativity.
love
Short,
that one.
simple. Barn burner in the Big 12, not bad too. But Zach,
They're losing before
short,
the
sweet to the
Final Four.
point. Going to start out
Perfect.
with the 2 points. You're going to take that 2 point lead going into the second rapid fire. And we'll stay in college basketball for our next rapid fire question. And before last night's Kentucky-Georgia basketball game, the fans in the Georgia student section received how-to pamphlets teaching them how to be better basketball fans. Now, this is no shock coming from a football-dominated school and seeing as how we also attend a football-dominated school. Guys, what could Texas do to improve its basketball atmosphere?
Have fans.
Crowdsource
People show up.
substitutions. So it's like you throw it up on the Jumbotron, right? Like, who do you want to see play? I want to see Cam Ridley playing point guard. I texted in.
Gosh.
Dude, crowdsourcing substitutions? You tell me you wouldn't want to be part of that?
They're-
Fire Barnes now, and then let us coach him.
Well, I thought maybe you were going for something like crowdsourcing, like you can text and then they get to put you in the game, because honestly, it wouldn't make much of a difference now.
I could produce 80% of Jawan Felix.
How about we just go?
No, I say
go there, Pop.
we're already on the path to, I think, helping the team out. What needs to happen is the Frank Irwin Center's horrible for basketball. It's too big. The
Bad
fans are too
location.
far. It's just you can't get a connection with it. I think that as we move to a smaller location, it'll improve the atmosphere.
Alrighty.
I think we should just take a page out of the pros, learn from above, and the Atlanta Hawks that we talked
Tinder
about
night?
earlier.
Tinder
Exactly. They did a
Tinder
swipe right night, and people love that. They had their highest attendance of the entire first half of the
Yo, they
season
were
that
popping
night.
champagne.
Hey,
and
swipe right,
roses.
taking a Kiss Cam to the new level.
Exactly.
It's the millennial version of Kiss Cam.
Dude. Hey, did you guys see
Hopefully
that
I'll match
Kiss
with the
Cam chick
cheerleader.
who made out with the guy next to her and not her boyfriend?
I did not see that.
No, New York Knicks game. Guy was ignoring her, so she made out with the dude next to her.
No, wait,
probably the most
wasn't it-
exciting thing that
wasn't it
happened
up
in
to
the
the
Knicks game
Ohio
all
State
year.
the championship
Without a
game?
Oh, they
Didn't
had
that
the
happen?
Knicks game too.
Well, I think I'm going to give Johnny the point on this one. So it's going to be 5-5-3 for the Atlanta Hawks swipe right night. And we know in college that'd be an even bigger hit than a normal March night in Atlanta, Georgia. So,
Yeah.
but it's going to be 5-5-3 going into the last question,
I'm not
guys.
scared.
So as always, it's going to come down to this one. We don't mess with tiebreakers here on College Crossfire. So for the last rapid fire of the night, we're going to talk stadium concessions. The Arizona Diamondbacks have added a new churro dog to its menu. The churro dog is a combination of, wait for it, a cinnamon churro, ice cream, a donut, caramel, and chocolate sauce drizzled on top. Now, with that being said, what concession item would you guys want to see added at Texas sporting events?
I always push this one whenever this question's brought up. So Ricky Williams brownies, that would be
Okay.
definitely popular. And
like
then
that,
if
not
we're doing
bad.
like baseball
Well-
games, maybe like hoggy burritos.
Okay.
Sticking with the dessert theme, this is something we used to hit up at J2. You get a waffle, you get some ice cream, you get some cookies, you get some whipped cream, you get some more cookies, some ice cream, another waffle. Put it all together, cut it up. It's called a golden waffle. It's delicious.
Is the golden waffle the official Zach Head freshman 15 food?
Yes, I endorse it.
Alrighty.
I think this is easy again. It's combining my two favorite things, ice cream and certain beverages, alcoholic milkshakes. The best thing in the world.
Alrighty. Simple. So we had the golden waffle, alcoholic milkshakes.
Ricky Williams brownies with the side of a hoggy burrito.
If you had a Ricky Williams brownie and alcoholic milkshake, you would love going to Texas basketball
Dude,
games.
basketball games would be lit. Are you kidding me?
Or
Tinder night would be every
you
night.
could get the brownie, and then you could have the hoggy burrito. So,
But the golden
hardly
waffle is like the
both kinda
dessert
gotta
after the brownie.
I'm
The
telling you,
brownie
man,
then
after the game,
golden
Every
waffle.
night would be
The long
Tinder
trip back
night.
from,
With,
you
The
know,
Ricky Williams
football
brownie,
game?
then you hit up a golden waffle.
yeah.
Ah, man, these are all tough choices. Anyone else got anything to help me out here?
I'm trying to.
Audience,
run through 'em here.
anything? No. I think
You
I'm
go
gonna
baby back ribs. I don't know.
I like
Oh no, you're about to throw me the point, right?
Yeah, no, I'm giving you the
Yeah,
3
yeah.
points in the win. I think Karthik's gonna get it for the Brownies on this
Oh
one.
gosh.
Yes, I told you I wasn't scared. Food always saves me, dude.
I mean, Karthik, I'm gonna be honest, man. Coming down the stretch, I don't know if I quite had you as the favorite. I didn't have you as Kentucky, but I didn't necessarily have you as the favorite.
I think Kentucky was the highlight of the programming.
All right,
I
we
liked
have,
it.
We have plenty of time for FaceTime for you.
Oh,
I know
all right.
last time you won, you didn't
He's
get
gonna talk
FaceTime,
about
so
Yeezus.
Oh,
Go
nice.
for it.
Yeah, I'm definitely talking about Kanye. So I don't know if you guys have been checking it out, but Kanye's album "So Help Me God's" gonna be coming out soon. So that's all what I've been doing. Also, I'm doing an open invite to any of the viewer out there. I really want a music pass for South by Southwest, and I don't want to chip out like $800. So I'll be like your lackey, like I'll feed you grapes and like carry your cameras and stuff. But let me hook me up. Kanye's coming.
I love that
So how
any
much
of the
did
viewer.
Kanye pay you for that?
Dude, Kanye doesn't have to pay me. I'm trying to find a way to pay him so I can go watch his stuff.
So you're trying to get a press pass?
Yeah. Dude, I'm not about to shell $800.
Kanye, Karthik is your biggest fan. Help him out.
Yeah.
If Kanye happens to be watching
Yeah.
college
To my one viewer, let Kanye know.
Alrighty, fellas. So we still got about a minute, 30
Oh, nice.
seconds.
We're gonna shoot the
of
breeze.
program here.
You could have
know,
talked about
I thought
Kanye
with
way
this
longer.
panel, there was no way.
Really cut it
there
short.
wasn't going to be enough talking going on, but I guess I
we kept
rushed
getting
you
the
guys a little
hurry
too
it
much.
up thing. Yeah.
We should talk about our days in the weather. You know?
Snow days
Oh,
coming up.
we should give a quick weather update. Oh, school
canceled
is, we're getting word that
till 2.
school is canceled till 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Wait, does that
Our
mean I have to
camera
go back
person,
to 2 o'clock
Katarina
class?
Biancardi just told me that. So if that's
go back to 2
false,
o'clock.
that's on her. But
I like that. I love that the university.
over.
No
I love
fair.
that the university does that. School is canceled until 2. That means school is canceled.
yeah, I don't know about you fellas, but school canceled till 2. That means I ain't going.
Yeah. You have a 3:30.
Dude, we should get Ricky Williams to have an input on this brownies recipe. I bet you've got some dope recipes.
You know, man, he's really turned his life around. I don't know if he's going to want to come on and chat about that, man.
I like the
He's
pun.
coaching
though. I like
at
the-
he's coaching at some high school now.
I bet you the prices
And
might be a little too
No,
high
it's
for
like a
college
highly
students.
ranked high school in like Houston, I think.
Yeah. Yo, I'm just trying to get these Ricky Williams puns off, Zach. Come on, stop dropping knowledge.
I'm sorry.
Excellent show. Thank you all for joining me on the panel tonight. That's all the time we got for you guys on tonight's show. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of College Crossfire. We'll be back next week, same place, same time as usual for everyone in the studio. Master Control, our panel tonight, and myself. We'll see you next week. I don't know if,
I did not think I was going to